Multiple shots fired.
In December 2015, 14 people were murdered in San Bernardino by homegrown Islamists. Life for American Muslims would never be the same again, as hate and violence was directed at them like never before.
This religion teaches that women should be raped for showing their faith.
And when America accepted thousands of Syrian refugees, politicians joined in.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Trump's popularity exposed a country polarized by anti-Muslim hysteria.
There are a lot of incidents that go unreported. The man that starts beating a young Muslim man screaming out, Trump, Trump, Trump.
You can't give us any guarantee that your kid might someday strap on a suicide vest. You read the same Quran that ISIS does.
I'm going to find out how America has got to a point where it's become normal to label a whole community as terrorists.
If you're 18 years old and your name's Jamal and you got the beard and the hat, it kind of goes without saying that you're not allowed.
And where protesters come armed and ready for war.
Well, if they think they're going to come to Texas and pull these jihad attacks like they do in France, it's not going to happen.
Are these fears justified? Is America really under attack?
Do you believe in jihad?
Yes, everyone doesn't believe in jihad. I want to see the Islamic flag engraving in the White House.
The last year has seen a huge increase in anti-Islamic hate groups. Their purpose? To free America of Muslims. And I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, to meet one of the most controversial.
Hi, I'm Robert. Nice to meet you, man. Follow me.
Robert is the founder of protest group Bomb Islam and is keen to show me how he spends his Fridays.
So tell us what you're doing here today.
What we're doing right now is we're going to do a little protest, me and a few of my friends here, that basically just lets these Muslims know that they're not going to get comfortable here in my state.
Why specifically have you chosen this mosque?
Well, one, it's the closest one where we can get right to where they enter, so it's easiest to antagonize them here. Two, the guy that flew the plane into the Pentagon, this was his mosque.
Robert's group is a small collection of Army veterans determined to uphold American values.
Do you feel like you need that today?
I think in general there's a chance terrorists attack anywhere and everywhere at any point in time, especially in today.
We just know the history of Islam. Since 632 AD, it's been nothing but terror around the world. We don't want it here. This is America.
See, right here is where you can get all sorts of halal meat. So if you're into animal torture, this is where you get the meat.
Are you real idiots? You have no clue of what you're living about.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We believe in all the prophets. From the first prophet to the last.
You also believe in Sharia law.
Could you read that?
Yes, this is the most hateful, sexist, racist, homophobic book I've ever read. Can you read it? Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'm going to read it. No. Read from the beginning.
Robert rips out a page of the Quran. Under UK law, these extreme protesters could be arrested for religious hatred. But America's First Amendment protects Robert's freedom of speech.
You terrorists!
Why are you doing that?
Garbage is what this is. This is hate speech. This is racist, sexist, homophobic, advocates rape and pedophilia.
Has a Muslim ever done any harm to you?
Not to me personally, no, but they're doing harm to the country. They want to normalize their religion. They want people to think that they're peaceful and that they have a place here in America, when in reality they do not. You Muslim? Yeah. So what do you think about Muhammad having sex with a 9-year-old? Do you think that's pedophilia, or do you think it was justified?
You're not going to get me mad. No, nothing
of course
you're
not.
saying is
of
not
course
going to
not.
get me mad because you're ignorant.
Right?
Does Sharia law believe in equal rights for women? Yes or no?
Yes, absolutely.
Since when?
Okay, have you
How
read
come they got to wear a burqa? Because they can't show their face. That's not equal rights.
Look.
Busted!
Hey, careful. You might get acid thrown on your face, get a little too close to these guys.
He won't condemn Hamas or the Muslim Brotherhood, and he won't say the U.S. Constitution.
What are you doing in America?
Because I love here.
If you Satan, you consider it.
Why don't you go back to a Muslim country and take Obama with you?
You're radicalists trying to destroy America.
Get out.
Yes, you are.
You can't give us any guarantee that your kid might someday strap on a suicide vest. You read the same Quran that ISIS does.
You guys jealous of Islam.
You guys suck.
Jealous of Islam, yes.
Walk away because you know you're wrong.
Cowards.
Coward! Coward!
Is wrong. This is what cause hate. I know America's a free country, but you can't do that. You can't come to the mosque here and cause more hate. That's not right.
I thought Robert had finished his abuse for one day, but I was wrong.
We got one right here wearing a trash bag on her head.
You don't even know that woman. You haven't spoken to her. You don't know anything about her. Why would you want to abuse her?
She's making a statement by wearing that trash bag saying, I'm better than you, I'm a Muslim. You know, an Islamic supremacist, basically. They think that we're apes and pigs and that she's so much better than us that we can't see her hair.
That's ridiculous.
No, it is a ridiculous religion.
It's difficult for me to understand why Robert feels the way he does, but anti-Muslim feeling is racing across America. 55% of Americans have expressed some kind of negative views towards Islam. I'm taking a 2-hour flight to Dallas, Texas. Muslims have been living here for over 50 years. There are now 150,000 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, one of the biggest populations in America. But could this also be the most Islamophobic place in America? Armed militia groups have been protesting outside the mosques. The police arrested a 14-year-old Muslim schoolboy because they thought his science project looked like a bomb. And a man attacked a Muslim business, killing one person and injuring others. But today, I'm here at the University of Texas, where a memorial has been organised to remember 3 American Muslim students who were sought out and gunned down in their own apartment.
This event is called Balloons for Our 3 Winners. Each one of you has a balloon, and on the balloon you have a quote attached to it. These quotes are from 3 victims that were murdered for their religion. The reason we're having this event is to honor their memory and show that their legacy still lives on. 3, 2, 1, go!
Hate crimes targeting Muslims has tripled in the last year.
Fear is affecting Muslims here because some people, you don't know how far they're going to go. So some people are being hurt, some people are scared. I had security cameras installed around my house because I felt afraid, and I didn't feel like that before.
One time I was driving and the car next to me, he started imitating like a gun with his fingers as if he was shooting me, and so I got really scared at the moment, so I took a detour.
I was putting my groceries in the trunk when an individual approached me from behind. He's like, "Are you Muslim?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm Muslim." And he showed me his gun. And he's like, "If I could use this right now, I would. And I would kill you here right now."
Only 20 minutes away from the university, I'm meeting one of the most extreme anti-Muslim groups operating in America. After months of negotiation, I finally got access to the Bureau of American Islamic Relations, or BAIR for short.
This one that takes the AR mags, right? Haven't gotten fired that one yet.
They think Islam is incompatible with the American Constitution, and that all Muslims are potential terrorists. David Wright III is their leader.
What are you attacking?
I set up BAIR as a resistance against radical Islam coming to America and killing innocent American people. We're protecting our state, our country, our families. We're protecting our way of life, the Constitution. We're protecting all of it, everything. Everything that you know and understand about America, that's what we're protecting.
Men, what are we? Free men! And we're going to remain free.
BAIR have no faith in the government and believe President Obama to be a Muslim. They claim to run their own Homeland Security Service, and they want to show me some evidence that they think the FBI may have missed.
Y'all familiar with what's going on up in Oregon right now?
Tom, what do you think this place is?
This is one of the areas that we're being told is used as a camp.
It's a suspected terrorist training camp.
Most of the training takes place up here to the right in the wood line where you can't see it. That is where they do the pistol training. A lot of the rest of their firearm training is actually done back in the wood line, with this being their main mosque.
Is it realistic to think that there's a training camp here in Texas?
ISIS and the Muslim Brotherhood have already admitted that they've got terrorist training facilities here in the United States.
And what are the type of training are they going to do at a location like this in a rural area? Why would they need to be in such a rural area to do any other training except weapons, firearms training and tactical training where nobody can see what they're doing?
This is definitely a target of interest we want to keep our eyes on.
With a target identified, Bear have called an armed training exercise to prepare themselves for a war with Muslims that they believe is coming.
I'm proud to be called Big Daddy Infidel.
Other guy said infidel, I said Big Daddy Infidel.
Yeah, that's it.
If they think they're going to come to Texas and pull these jihad attacks like they do in France, things like that, and get away with it, it's not going to happen. There's a gun behind every blade of grass.
A lot of them are going to see this and they're going to know that if they try their jihad shit in Texas, they ain't going to work out. If you fuck with America, we fuck with you back. How can we vet them to come into America? I don't care if they're 8 or 10 years old. There's a possibility that they have a problem with us, and their whole philosophy is death to America. So why would they even want to come here unless they were going to blow something up or shoot people?
Yeah, it's common sense.
It's common sense. So if you're 18 years old and your name's Jamal and you got the beard and the hat, it kind of goes without saying that you're not allowed.
Right. Yeah, this is like our little training camp, our little forward operating base, and it's very private and out of the way. Place we can come and be left alone, and it's quiet until we get started shooting. Then it's not so quiet.
Ready left. Ready right. Setting them down range. Take them out.
Too bad I can't shake the man's hand that I did that for real.
Seeing the size of some of the weaponry makes me wonder what sort of an attack they're expecting.
What's this?
It's a 50 cal BMG. These are the rounds for it.
So what would that do to a person?
You probably wouldn't have much of a head left, which actually you wouldn't. I've seen plenty of videos of that.
What are you preparing for?
I think that more or less it's good to be prepared for what's to come, especially with all these Syrian refugees coming over here. They just arrested a fella in Houston that was planning to go blow up a mall over here and stuff like that. So they're not as all peaceful as everybody makes them out to be. Christians aren't going to take shit from people, especially from Muslims.
Europe is what we're trying to avoid here. The Muslim refugees rioting and things like that, raping women, and the police not really prosecuting them. It's absolutely insane. If that comes here, we're not going to worry about the police taking care of us. We're going to take care of ourselves.
Whilst today was just a training exercise, in 2 weeks' time, these guys are planning a protest at a local mosque with guns and live ammunition. And I can't help worry that this mix of anti-Muslim feeling and a passion for firearms could be a lethal combination. Especially when you consider the strength of feeling second-in-command John has. What do you really think about Islam?
I can actually tolerate cannibalism from South America over Islam. Because I don't see cannibals trying to run out of their territory and take over the entire world. Where Islam has made it absolutely clear that is their mission. Islam needs to be banned in the United States. You know, you want Sharia law, you want your set of rules, go back to your country where you came from.
I've come downtown to meet American-born Omar Suleiman, one of the most prominent imams in the United States. He sees Islamophobia everywhere.
There you go, you got something. I just threw him up a peace sign, that's all.
What to say to you?
I don't know. I'm so used to getting yelled at that sometimes I can't even make out what they're saying anymore. So I don't know if it's a hi, how's it going? Or it's a go back home or go to hell. It's always something different. So you just throw up a peace sign every time. There are a lot of incidents that go unreported that we hear about. That go unreported. So when someone stalks a Muslim woman in a parking lot and threatens them with violence, that doesn't go reported. But it's there, and it's becoming a daily reality for people. And then you've got the man that jumps off of his motorcycle and starts beating a young Muslim man, screaming out, Trump, Trump, Trump.
Where does this come from? How we got here?
With a very systematic dehumanization of 1.8 billion people. That's how we got here. Through media, through the movies, through our reckless politicians. Sadly, it's where we're at.
Omar is worried that this is only the beginning, and America could be heading back to a much darker place in its history.
So the reason why I brought you here is that just a little over 100 years ago, a man by the name of Alan Brooks was dragged out of the second floor of the Old Red Courthouse by an angry lynch mob, and they dragged him on the street and they lynched him here at this intersection. The fact that this happened in America only over 100 years ago, what it shows us is that we've been here before. That we've had this ugly past that we have to come to terms with. And if we're going to truly say never again, then we shouldn't allow ourselves to fall for the same traps that allowed us to dehumanize people to the point that they could be lynched in front of men, women, and children without anyone seeing any problem with that, any moral conflict with that. And so when you dehumanize a people enough, that's what you can do to them.
But it's not history David is concerned with. It's the future of the America he grew up in. He's worried that more of his beloved Texas will be taken over by Muslims.
So we're going to go scout out the area around the mosque. We're going to drive through the neighborhoods around there and show you guys how they have changed all the street names. They have Islamic street names now. And when I was a kid, running around that area with my friends, you know, all the street names were American-sounding street names. And to drive over there now and see these changes, it's kind of disturbing. It makes us feel like they're not trying to assimilate and be Americans. They're trying to bring the Middle East to America.
I can see David becoming uncomfortable as we enter the Muslim neighborhood.
This one, Al Razi, Avicenna.
Walking in the film.
Yeah, you want to grab something to eat here at the Kasbah Cafe? Yeah, that's Muslim. Now, have you seen anyone other than Muslims in this neighborhood since we've been here? Nothing but Muslims in the whole neighborhood. And look at all the money that's in here. I mean, these are some rich Muslims, and they are taking over, and they got the money to do it. They got the money to do it.
Nice Cadillac.
Yes, I mean, that's just creepy right there. Did you see that? That is just creepy. I mean, it feels satanic to me when I see these people. I mean, they're dressed in black, and it's all covering their face, and their eyes are dark. It's very satanic to me.
David's feelings about Muslims seems to be a weird mix of hate and envy. But I'm keen to speak to some of the younger members of Bear to find out why they feel the way they do.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, Franklin, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
You guys?
Yeah.
Come on in.
Franklin is 23 and one of the newest members of the group. He's also a reformed burglar.
Tell me about where your views about Muslims came from.
Well, my first experience with the Muslim was actually in prison. And that experience was this man tried to convert me immediately. And of course, me not knowing anything about it, I was like, well, you guys don't believe in Jesus. Jesus is my, that's my Savior. And I started, oh, well, we do believe in Jesus. And I brushed that off. Well, I'm not going to convert to Islam. And then I started picking up a Quran and picking up the Hadiths, which is the words of the Prophet, to see that it's not just the select few, that they are taught and from a very young age, indoctrinated, I would say, with these beliefs, instilled with the unwavering hate of Jews, of everything, of all things not Islam.
What percentage of people, Syrian refugees coming in here, do you think are terrorists or will be terrorists?
All of them.
Really?
I mean, they're all reading the same Quran. They're all reading the same Hadith. So Islam is Islam. I mean, it'd be a cold day in hell if you convinced me that what I'm seeing is not real.
Franklin's anger at America letting in so many Muslims has led him to make a big decision.
What have you done about this? How you feel about the situation?
Well, I mean, with the current state of America, it has me on edge. It drove me to take a stand, to make a choice in my life that'll benefit me, my family, and hopefully all of America. And that decision for me was to run for office, and at a national level, at a congressional level.
This is your website, yeah?
Yeah. What I'm aiming to do is use my salary as a congressman and fund other like-minded individuals who will take action, who won't sit idly by and watch their nation be destroyed.
One of the pages I noticed that you accept donations or something, you've asked for money.
Well, if we click on that, what that does is that takes you to a GoFundMe account for me, and of course I have nothing.
Where does it say nothing?
0.
Okay.
My goal is, well, whatever I can get.
How realistic do you think it is that you will actually run for office in 2020?
Oh, it's happening. I will figure out a way. If I can't get any donations and nobody wants to contribute and I have to go at it alone, I will go at it alone, and I will find a way to run in 2020, and I will find a way to win in 2020. I mean, it's a for sure thing. Whoever I run against, I don't care what committee position they hold or how long they've been in Congress, I will win.
Franklin has an unwavering belief in himself and his liberty as an American. But what I want to know is, when does one person's freedom become another person's blasphemy?
Hello. Come on in.
I'm meeting Dory, an author of books on Islamic extremists, and someone who sees no problem in upsetting Muslims.
This is basically my little corner of the world where I do all my research and all my study with many, many, many books. This is the latest one that came out that I'm working on. I was asked to speak 2 years ago, it would have been, when ISIS began to rise. And one of the things I figured that I absolutely had to have was this information on these maps to see where everything was actually happening. I do this because it's extremely critical that people understand what Islam is doing to the world.
Dory's belief in free speech led to her involvement in a controversial art exhibition.
You can't draw pictures of Muhammad because it's slander, and that's something they don't like, and it's a killing offense. It is literally capital punishment in Sharia law. So they all say, let's just stand up and show these people that you can't do it in the United States. We must protect our freedom of speech. So let's just draw Muhammad. Let's just have some big contest. The art contest was everybody who wanted to draw something having to do with Muhammad.
We are Tom Trento, live from the Mohammed Art Exhibition, the first inaugural presentation of this type.
I was very excited to go to it. It was something that I knew was going to make a direct effect on freedom of speech in the United States, and I was happy to do it. There was a great deal of security before we could get in. We all went in, we were all checked out. It was quite secure.
But hosting such a controversial event was always going to be a security risk.
Get back in the back on the building.
Okay, shots just got fired.
We don't know that for a fact.
The rumor started from somewhere that there has been gunshots fired. There's 2 people shooting at us. It was surreal. We were inside. We did not know what was going on outside.
We have a little situation developing live right now. The security people are running like crazy outside. Somebody said, we have no idea, shots fired.
They were Americans in Islamic clothing who were headed for us to kill us because they didn't want us to talk.
2 suspects have been shot, possibly have explosives on them, okay? That's what we're worried about right now.
Were the suspects Muslim?
I have no idea right now.
The 2 attackers were American Muslims inspired by ISIS.
Then we heard that the 2 shooters were dead. And from that point on, it was pretty much of a party. This is the winning cartoon of it. And it's very direct. They tell us, you can't draw Muhammad. And the cartoonist, being very independent, says, well, you can't tell me I can't, so that's why I'm going to draw you. And that's the American spirit.
Do you realise how offensive an art competition like that would be to Muslims?
I think it's really just too bad if you're offended. They offend me all the time. They tried to kill me. Do you think that's not offensive?
David from Bexar is a firm believer in his freedoms as an American and isn't letting the risk of further acts of terrorism stop him from protesting.
When these people were having Draw the Prophet Muhammad event, which in America, we don't only believe in the Second Amendment to carry a gun, we believe in the First Amendment, which is freedom of speech and expression. And if you want to draw pictures of somebody, then you should be able to do that. And if someone wants to kill them over that, it's pretty ridiculous. So we're protesting in front of mosques. It's similar to what they were doing there. And we know that the terrorists will come and try to attack us if they get the idea in their head. So why would we not be prepared for that? And when you're dealing with radical extremists who set people on fire in cages, cut off heads, when you're protesting against people like that, you almost have to use your Second Amendment to protect your First.
Today, Irving Mosque is hosting a welcome day for some of the newly arrived refugees who have escaped war in the Middle East. These are the lucky ones. Since 2012, only 2,000 have been allowed into America. They have been through a 2-year security vetting process. But Bexar are still convinced they are terrorists and have organised a protest at the mosque. They are coming armed and prepared in case the refugees attack them.
What have you got here?
It's an AK, it's an AK, it's an AK and 308. And some body armor.
Just a standard shotgun with combat shells. High impact with 3 steel balls. Take off a door or knock down a man.
Why do you need guns here?
We've had 5 protests, and we were armed at all of them, and nobody got hurt, okay? Terrorists attack unarmed crowds. They do not attack armed crowds. It's a deterrent. Why do you think they haven't attacked us? We've already had 1 detractor and 1 supporter. The detractor said, leave them people alone, you fucking country boys.
I'm shocked by the support of the passers-by.
Right on, brother! We got 4 approvals and 1 disapproval so far.
The silent majority of America is making their voices heard.
Thumbs up. Another thumbs up. 16-2.
Only a lone voice stands up for the Muslims.
Who's this lady? They got a sign. Refugees welcome. Uh-oh.
I'm afraid you're going to have to go someplace else.
It's a free country and it's a free sidewalk.
We're not going to sit here and have another debate for somebody that's ignorant and doesn't do their research.
You're a white woman, right? Well, guess what? You'll be their sex slave if they decide to keep you around.
You want that shit here?
Look at every country that has accepted these so-called refugees.
Get out of here. Sit down.
Why have you decided to come out here today?
I am willing to drag my disabled ass out of bed on a Saturday because I heard that armed people might be protesting the American Islamic Center, which I consider basically to be terrorism.
People like that, she's never picked up a Quran, yet she's out here supporting them. They just want peace. They've probably done a little bit of LSD in their college days, and they just peace, love, and happiness. There are real evils in this world.
Passport, and I'll buy your tickets on my...
I wonder if I'm seeing the real characters in Bear, where a group of armed men are happy to bully a lone woman.
You're not a soldier. You've never fought. You see that? I fought. I have the right to say what I've got to say. You do not. Intimidate this.
Inside the mosque, the refugees refuse to be intimidated by Bear's protest. They're just glad to be safe, having escaped their war-torn homeland.
أنا شفتهم برا بس الأمر هذا بيسيء لي بس ما بيخيفني يعني أمر طبيعي. بنحس إنه في يعني ناس فأمان الإسلام خطأ.
I was willing to go and talk to them because I'm very open to listen to the other view, to share my view, but I was afraid maybe someone is going to be a little bit offensive or so, something like that.
Despite the hostile reception given to the refugees, Omar is preaching a message of understanding in a nearby mosque.
When we see people that are yelling and screaming, when we see people that hate our guts, whether they're holding up signs and telling you to go back home, or whether they're just people that are giving you, nasty stares in public, whatever it may be, it allows us to not hate them. It allows us to actually want good for them. It allows us to be able to go to them and to try to win over their hearts. They're not in a position where their minds can absorb anything. They've been too blocked by the hate.
He may teach tolerance, but I want to know if he thinks he can prevent extremism in his own community.
I make very well clear that there are no young people in my community that hold those views. I talk to them on a daily and a nightly basis outside of the mosque. If you see me here outside the mosque every single day, you will see me talking to people. I make sure that if those views start to creep into our community, we crush them right away. So I don't know what more I could do except that. And of course, I use the online platform that God has blessed me with to counter that message. And I've been threatened for it. And I have, I've been called multiple names for it, many names for it. And I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it. Not because of Bear, but because of God and because of who I believe I should be as a Muslim. So I have no problem assuming that responsibility. I don't need anyone with a gun standing in front of my mosque to tell me I need to do that. I'm already doing it. I've been doing it before this group even existed.
Just another day in the United States of America. Another day of gunfire, panic, and fear.
But the fact is, American Muslims have carried out attacks, like the one in San Bernardino, when 14 people were murdered. Omar believes that the people who commit these crimes don't go to mosques or talk to imams like him. He believes they're commonly radicalized online. It's here on faceless forums and networks that extremist views are aired. And it's on one such website I made contact with a Muslim who is prepared to talk. He's concerned for his safety, so we have to meet on his terms and without knowing his real name. But we're only 15 minutes from Omar's mosque.
So, do you want to tell us about how you feel? Are you angry at America?
Yes, as a foreign policy, for their foreign policy, I'm very angry. Everywhere they have gone, they have been killing civilians. They are supporting the corrupt regimes. They are pretty much responsible for the mess in the Muslim countries. I've known people who have been killed at drone strikes. I've known people killed in the bomb blasts.
America's killed your friends?
Yes, my citizens, my brothers, yes. They have killed many Muslims all around the world. Makes me feel very angry about it. Right now, there's no one stopping them. It's time for Muslims to fight back for the rights like blacks did in the 1960s and 70s.
Do you believe in jihad?
Yes, every Muslim doesn't believe in jihad. It's mentioned in Quran, so there can't be any statement that says, I don't believe in jihad. So I do believe in jihad.
Is jihad the way forward?
It's one of the way forward for establishing, for spreading Islam, but not the only way forward. I would like to have Sharia implemented in America and in all parts of the world.
Sharia law throughout America?
There should be Sharia law because that's the only way out for the humanity. I feel like Islam and democracy are opposing because in democracy you take the majority opinion and you can outlaw the laws that are set by the Creator. Like few years back, homosexuality was completely banned from America, but now it's illegal. For Islamic State, that's never going to happen. When Buddha said he should be executed.
And that's what you believe?
Yeah, that's what everyone has to believe. Sharia is the only way forward.
How would the American Constitution fit into that? It wouldn't fit in, would it?
No, it won't fit in here. I want to see the flag and the Islamic flag waving in the White House. That's what I'd like to. That's my ambition to see in my life. I don't think that there were any Muslim that would disagree with that statement.
This man lives lawfully in America and denounces violence. Yet his vision for the future is at odds with the Texans I've met so far. The next time I see David, he has his sights on a different target. Bear are going after the Nation of Islam, an African-American movement that believes in both the Quran and the Bible, and are controversial for their links with black supremacy.
But if you're after radical Islamists, why are you going to the Nation of Islam?
Well, because the Nation of Islam is full of radical people who are Islamic. They have some different methods, and the Nation of Islam is mostly African-American members. They have some different ideology compared to the Arab Muslims in North Dallas, but when you get down to it, it's all the same violent death cult. You know, if you're not one of us, you die. So that's why we're protesting Nation of Islam.
John is researching its current leader.
Louis Farrakhan has called on multiple occasions for a 10,000-man Muslim army to start a race war.
The Quran teaches persecution is worse than slaughter. Then it says we must rise up and kill those who kill us. Stop them and kill them and let them feel the pain of death that we are feeling.
And he's preaching straight out of the Quran. And that's supposed to be the same book that Richardson Moss says promotes peace. They are promoting violence.
But on the eve of the protest, an online war of words breaks out between the two groups. And threats to kill are made. John is worried that someone is going to get hurt. so he arranges a meeting with the police. I'm told it's off limits, making me wonder what's really going on.
We're ready to roll.
It's the day of the protest, and all is quiet, with only the Nation of Islam members visible, standing guard outside their mosque.
There's only one person on the premises that can speak, and I'm going to ask him to go and see if he would be willing to speak to you all. Hang tight, okay?
Outside the mosque, there's a tension in the air, and it's clear there are others here who are not followers of the Nation of Islam. But who are they?
So could you just tell us about what's happening today, or what's happened so far?
What's happening here today is we have threats of protests from a group. I think they're misguided. I think they need a better education on who they're criticizing and who they're protesting against. We're not the aggressor, but we will fight with those that fight with us. Thank you very much. All right.
If you turn around, there's probably a lot of people you can get on camera. It'll be much more fun. There you go. Look.
Out of nowhere came dozens of heavily armed counter-protesters, looking very well prepared for conflict.
And you unarmed, you do not have an arm. You say, man, get that camera out of my face, man. Back up. Get the camera out of my face.
These were not members of the Nation of Islam, but allied militant black power groups that feared an invasion of white supremacists.
Why have you come out today?
We're here to monitor and observe the activities of BEAR. That's primarily what our position is. We heard that they threatened to come to the South Dallas community.
We're here to stand in solidarity with the Nation of Islam and recognize the brothers and sisters of the Nation of Islam God-given right to practice religious freedom without getting impeded upon.
An hour passed and there was still no sign of BEAR. Eventually, word started to filter out. They weren't coming.
The white supremacists said they was coming to our neighborhood, but they didn't show up. You know why they didn't show up? Because we were here in solidarity. They didn't come when they said they was gonna come.
A few miles away, and I find John back at BEAR HQ, but he doesn't look pleased.
What happened was we were told by the Dallas Police Department not to show up to a protest today, which was the Nation of Islam. And now it's being put out all over the website that the counter-protesters are showing up and still protesting where we were told to stand down, and we're being called the ones that were the no-show. I'm pissed.
I hate to take you on that ride, but you're about to see a side of me you don't want to see.
Why?
Because I'm ready to go down there now, hunt them down, and beat the shit out of them. When they want to fight, I'm your Huckleberry.
All right, we're getting ready to move out.
But John's too late.
We appreciate everybody that came out to support the mosque. Hey man, take the camera out of my face, man.
And with BEAR not coming, there's an air of triumph from the Nation of Islam supporters.
The protest just finished up, so we can't rally up and go down there now. We got caught with our pants down. We got screwed. Right now, we need to actually do damage control right now because we were set up by DPD and get that fixed. I'm sorry, I'm extremely pissed, to say the least.
In the days that follow, David and John fall out. John, it seems, was the only BEAR member at the police meeting, and David thinks he may have bottled it, worried about the aggression of the militant counter-protest.
Are you going to kick John out of BEAR?
I have no idea. We haven't gotten far enough in this process for me to know that one way or the other yet.
Yeah.
That's as honest as I can be. I can't say one way or another right now, for sure.
But you've got somebody to replace him.
Well, I mean, yeah, Yeah, that's not the end-all be-all of the whole movement. You know, if me and John decide to go separate ways, yeah, there's other people out there, of course. Does that mean that I'm going to need them? I don't know. You know, when me and him sit down and talk, if I say, hey, you know, I would like to do things this way next time instead of the way we did it this time, and he goes, no, you know, I want to do it the same way, then I'm going to have to say, well, you know, I don't want to do it the same way. And that's kind of how it's going to go. He has talents, and he has a lot of things that he brings to the table, you know. But if it doesn't get worked out in a reasonable amount of time, but of course, if it's creating dysfunction, we would have to get rid of John.
With Bear in turmoil, could there be an opportunity to draw the two communities together? Omar wants a meeting with them.
There is no doubt in my mind, the more Americans that encounter Muslims at a human level, the more this bigotry is going to disappear. Because statistic after statistic has shown that Americans that have actually sat with Muslims and known them on a human level are very, very, you know, unlikely to hold these types of views about Muslims and things of that sort. So it's a united fight. We have to come together to fight against all forms of violence, and we have to form alliances, like-minded people that want to see a world of peace.
He has invited Franklin, who wants to run for Congress on an anti-Muslim ticket, to a roadside barbecue with Syrian refugees. Is this the first time you've actually spoken to a Muslim in depth?
It will be, yes.
You have very strong views about them, don't you?
I do, yes.
Briefly, what are your feelings about Muslims?
That they're involved in an orchestrated plot to infiltrate America, overthrow its government, and implement a global caliphate and global Sharia, a total Islamic nation.
Are you going to tell them that?
Absolutely.
What do you think of them when you see them? What do you think when you look out now?
Distrust. I think this fake. This is just a front. Oh, look at us. We're peace-loving Muslims. Look, hey, come on over. Let's talk. Hey. I'm ready if we are.
Nice to meet you.
I see you know my name already, Franklin. Omar, it's nice to meet you. Are you willing to acknowledge that there is a problem in the Muslim world? Groups like ISIS and ISIL, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, there's hundreds of them. But one thing that's in common with every single one of them is they're Islamic in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. There's an underlying evil to the Islamic faith, characteristic of what I would attribute to people who worship Satan.
Do I believe that there are radical groups that are using the religion and that are doing terrible things in the name of it? Yes. But the greatest victims of these groups are Muslim. You might be surprised to hear this, but I'm actually on ISIS's hit list. All right, so I've actually been targeted by them. And at the same time, I'm being told by other people that you're not doing enough to fight Islamic radicalism. I'm like, well, look, I'm actually putting my life on the line. And when I take my daughter to a mosque, my 6-year-old daughter to a mosque, and she sees people holding guns, you know, and she comes home and she says, Baba, why do they want to kill us? Why do they hate us? I mean, to me, that's extremism. If you knew that the environment that you helped create led someone to actually pull a trigger on one of those Muslim kids, an innocent Muslim, would you be able to sleep at night knowing that you could have possibly fueled that environment that you created could have led to that Islamophobia which has claimed the lives of innocent people?
Omar is keen for Franklin to meet some of the refugees he's been protesting against. Can you tell Omar what you told me about what you think the Syrian refugees are?
I have a fear that all of them coming over are terrorists, I guess I would say, or in one way or another support it. I mean, I think there's an issue, and I think it very plausible for ISIS sending over nothing but.
So do you not see that these people are just victims, families that they're fleeing war, they're fleeing conflict. They are the greatest victims of these things that we're seeing on TV. To us, it's all happening over there, and you know, to them, this was their daily reality. You know,
She's adorable.
This little girl, Haneen, was actually in her living room when a bomb fell on top of her and she had her leg taken away from her. These are just right in front of your eyes. Right?
She's just a little girl. I mean, when I was 5, I wasn't worried about a bomb or mortar going to hit my home. I mean, it kind of puts into perspective the reality of these types of situations, wars, civil wars, and people trying to get away from them. I'm willing to walk away reconsidering that it's not all Islam. When I see something like that little girl, it's hard to say no. I wouldn't. I can say, you know, oh, I don't want refugees. But for that, if that little girl was looking at me saying, please let me into America, I want to escape this war, I would be unable to tell her no. That's, I mean, you'd have to be heartless to see that and see that type of situation and know that story and to still say no, you shouldn't be here, I don't want you here.
After being here for nearly a month, this is the most positive experience I've had. It's a memory I'm happy to depart with. But then, everything changes.
Terrorist.
More coverage of the breaking news on today's terror attacks in Brussels.
The first explosion happens at a check-in area used by international carriers, including American Airlines. Seconds after the gunfire, the first explosion happened.
This is what they call for. This is exactly what they call for. You know, anybody that wants to stick their head in the sand and say, oh, this ain't going to happen here, that's what Belgium thought. You can't ignore the threats. You got to protect your citizens first. And this is the whole reason why we do what we do. And you wonder why there's so many people that have jumped on the Trump wagon to try to get the borders closed. How many more people have to die? How many more people have to get injured before people wake up and see what their rhetoric and their context is all about? This is exactly what they've been preaching. And you want that stuff here in America? We can't leave this crap to our kids.
The attack forces David and John to settle their differences. Bear is reborn.
It's like all organizations. You're going to have some disagreements within the group. The thing of it is me and David's been able to sit down, talk things out, hash it out. You know, we'll have our tiffs, yeah, but we're not going anywhere. And seeing what happened in Brussels is just confirmation that we need to be a little bit louder than ever before to try and get things going while we still can.
For Bear, horrifying incidents like this justify their very existence.
Every time there's an attack, it does help us refocus, and it'll help us forget the little disagreements that we have and get over those little disagreements and move on for the main goal, protecting what's ours.
They want to pay their respects to the 32 who died in the attack and have swapped their guns for a cross.
How many more crosses will have to be put in the ground? How many?
But Omar isn't prepared for his community to accept responsibility for any terrorist attack. He has his own thoughts on where blame lies.
I would say a group like Bear would have more to do with a violent incident taking place in the world than I do, because I'm actually trying to stop that cycle. They're feeding that cycle. They're feeding that carnage. They're feeding that nonsense. They're feeding that clash of civilizations. They're giving ISIS the world that they want. ISIS wants this world to be Islam versus the West. They're giving them that world. They're letting them know that, you know, it's just like a video game. ISIS is player one, and they just needed someone to press and be player two. Islamophobes are creating more Islamic terrorism.